Hey.
Hey.
Thank you.
Hey.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I see we got a few viewers already clicking in, so I figured I'd add us to the stream and we can go to town and let you guys know what ourselves, EPIC, Ensuring Parole for Incarcerated Citizens, and our coalition partners tomorrow with By Any Means, and as well as Miss Gaylisa Carr, who is with Adjusting Lives, Healing Hearts. The three organizations yesterday were a part of No Static Radio. We were live broadcasting with Spreading Love Unapologetically. If you haven't seen or heard it, please go back to any of our pages. The live is dropped on all of them. Please recap it, listen, learn, educate yourself, and spread the word. Today, we are actually meeting all as one because each organization has been facing some issues as far as what's going on within our ODRC, whether it be medical conditions, reentry conditions, parole issues, the whole 9 yards. So today we're actually doing a update to let our supporters, whether you're for all of us or one of us, just letting you guys know what we've been doing and what we plan on doing from this point on. I am Gina Kenny. I am the president of EPIC, Ensuring Parole for Incarcerated Citizens. I am joined by my vice president, Alexis Stores. We have Tamara from By Any Means here as well. Hopefully what's her title? President. Her president, Teresa Rogers, shows up. We're having some technical difficulties with her arriving, but hopefully we can click her in. And then we have Miss Gaylisa Carr with Adjusting Lives, Healing Hearts. And she's like the whole re-entry. She said bad connection. They can't hear us.
Teresa?
I didn't say anything. I was on mute. Hi, everybody. How you doing? Can y'all hear me?
Can hear us, but not
hear you, not see you. Is anyone else watching? Are you having issues? We have 19 viewers. Is it just Amira, or can everyone see us? Can you hear us? Please let us know that we're connected.
I can hear staticky. But
I hear a little background noise. That's the only thing when somebody's talking. It might be one of you guys. So I'm going to suggest that if anyone is not talking for the moment, to mute your backgrounds. Okay. I think that kind of, okay. It was somebody. We're just overlapping. It's the volume. We're still learning with the StreamYard. So I want each lady that's on the call or on the live right now to introduce yourselves. Brief explanation as to what it is that you have been doing with your organization and your future plans. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself.
What happened?
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and follow Gina, my president. I'm Alexis Stores. I'm vice president of EPIC. As she said, our organization has been doing a lot right now after the big COVID started throughout our facilities. Currently, we're working on doing our reconstruction to the Ohio Parole Board. That's our main focus. During COVID, a lot of you may know who followed us. We hit every institution in Ohio except for two. We didn't go to OSP or Southeastern, but we had a rally at each and every one of our facilities that went from spring all the way through October, I think. Basically, we just wanted to bring awareness at that point to what was going on inside during the pandemic and how it affected the incarcerated. We got a lot of correspondence in there that were reporting to us about what was going on with medical treatment, what was going on with social distancing, just how things were happening with food and just a lot of things that would really surprise anyone. Hopefully they would realize that isn't affected by incarceration. And that's one of the things that we tried to get out there. If you're close to someone that's incarcerated or you're affected by incarceration, you kind of already know some of these things if you've been living through it for a while. But our goal was to make the general public aware of what was going on. And at a lot of our rallies, we had folks come up to us that ask you, hey, what are you doing here? And we were able to educate, a lot about what was going on, and most people didn't have a clue. So we felt really like our rallies, even though we didn't have a whole lot of people out at each one, those who did come in full support, we appreciated. And I think that we considered what we did all spring and summer a big success. We put pressure on the ODRC. At first, we were trying, emailing, calling, but with an organization like the ODRC, they have ways of circumventing, or what's the word I'm want to use here? Not ignoring, but pretty much dismissing what we were saying and doing. So we had to find other ways. And that was through education and through still pressure of calling, doing wellness checks and whatnot. But our focus became on individuals, that were contacting us, this is happening, can you help? And we would try to do as much as we could. Obviously, we're not lawyers, we're not doctors, nurses, but we just tried to advocate for those that were having issues and talk to family members and just be there as much as we could for folks that were really suffering through all of it. And just to circle back right now, what we're really doing is now that, the election is over, we've got new legislators in there. What we're putting together is a proposal to introduce to Congress to get a bill going to reconstruct our parole board. As many of you know or may not know, our parole board doesn't really have any guidelines to follow, and they kind of wing it and do their own thing. And we have a lot of guys and women that have been up that, are not getting a fair hearing, and there's no reason for it. And they're not given a proper reason for it. What's suitable for release? What does that mean? It's written nowhere of what it means. So that's one of the things that we're fighting for. Just reconstructing the guidelines and making the parole board fair, and making the parole board, have hearings that are giving our men and women a shot. Most of our people that have to see the board are old law inmates, old law incarcerated, who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s and above. The recidivism rate for women and men like that are low, and they're continually given, set-offs. They're flopped, they're given more time. Hey, we'll see you in 5 years. Well, 5 years to someone, 10 years even, set-offs. I mean, that's disheartening, especially when you've been up 2 and 3 times and you have had no disciplinary tickets, and you stay out the way, and you're involved in programming. When the reason given is the nature of your crime, that's not a fair reason to me. And it's not a fair reason, period, when the whole point of our prison industry is for rehabilitation, right? And guys who are truly trying to rehabilitate themselves, because don't get me wrong, the state really doesn't help you do that. You have to be willing to put in the work yourself. And if you do that and you prove that through whatever programming that you do, just staying ticket free, you should be given a shot. And a lot of our men and women have served way past their mandatory minimums that they've been sentenced. So we're really trying to save and to help as much as we can by legislation changes, because that's the only way that things get done. So, we're in the process right now of getting our intros ready. We're getting, we're trying to get some meetings signed up with legislatures. We have I think we're going to have maybe some COVID restrictions and also possibly some fallout from the insurrection, but we're going to overcome that as much as we can, either through these types of calls or just different ways that we can get in the State House and just try to, lobby for our people. Other than that, we're still out here. I just recently, actually today, talked to a friend of mine inside who they're still having issues getting their stimulus. So we've got some feelers out for that. You know, these guys were, and women are supposed to get that money, and the ODRC or individual facilities or even the IRS shouldn't be hindering that. We have a guy, and I'm sure there's more, that the IRS is sending in debit cards for their stimulus. Now that's all fine and dandy for us on the outside if that's how you choose to get your money. However, we all know that's doing nothing for our men and women inside. They need that to go through the cashier's office and get put on their books to either use or send out. So we've got to put some pressure and expose that as well. So that's pretty much all I have until, and you know, we get the discussion going. That's my intro. That's what I got going on, and I will pass it over to Tamara.
Hi. I just got back in. Hey, how you guys doing? Tamora Freeman with By Any Means. Thank you guys. By Any Means has been focusing, initially we started focusing on the prisons. I don't know if you guys know, the state of Ohio has 28 prisons, with 3 for women, 2 for medical, and the rest are just prisons. We also work with federal and juveniles, which is my area of specialty. And I love working with them. Just thinking about some of the things we've been doing lately. we have a lot of serious medical issues in all of the prisons, and some of our loved ones are experiencing some major issues. I actually handle the Grafton area, so I mean the northern area, and so I'm sorry, you guys. I just got through moving. My brain is not here right now.
I was gonna say you do more than just one prison, but okay.
I know I do several. But we actually we help our loved ones and our families and everyone with all of the prisons. Every single one of them. We have people call in, and one of the big issues is medical, and one of the things we've been focusing on a lot is COVID in the system. And because they think that the virus is starting to reduce, unfortunately, it's beginning to mutate. And so it's starting to hit our loved ones again. And so now it's becoming yet another urgent issue. And so we're starting to get the phone calls, something we've all been talking about over the past whole year, because it's been a year, you guys. Can you believe it?
That's crazy. And the amount of calls, I'm sure each organization.
Oh my God.
For those that don't know anything about either of our groups, this is 3 organizations coming together in unity to let you know that it's something serious.
It's serious. Like, my God. And then another thing that we deal with a lot is the violence in the prisons. We have COs just doing
abuse of power, authority,
total
people with
abuse of
authority,
power.
and you're not holding them accountable. They feel like they can get away with anything.
Yeah. So I was thinking about some of the things, because we just kind of restructured and started thinking about what we really wanted to accomplish in 2021 on a different level. And so we wanted to focus on our I don't know why my brain
we will be talking about that story we were talking about yesterday. I will be pulling a picture up. I will be sharing some information with our viewers, some firsthand pictures that came straight from the inside of an individual who is only sentenced to 3 years. 3 years.
3.
And his shoulder, like when his family was telling me that his shoulder was literally popping out of place. I mean, you can picture it, right?
Yes.
But when you see it, it's a totally
it's ridiculous.
And I will be sharing that picture with the permission from his family. And I want to thank his family first and foremost for not giving up. They've been contacting me, honestly, and I feel horrible for many, many months. Since the beginning of COVID, they've been telling me that he's been having issues with his shoulder. I mean, we're not talking about a lifer. We're talking about somebody that's there to do his time. 3 years. He's due for release in 2022. First and foremost, during this pandemic, he should not even still be in there.
He
should have been on the list to get out.
He has a less than a year. Let him go.
Yeah.
Let him go.
Well, see, oh, okay, thank you. I'm so glad.
Go ahead, though. Keep going, girl.
so
I just want to throw that out there. I
I'm so
want
glad
our
you
viewers
said
to
it.
keep
It's like,
watching because I got exclusive pictures to
yes,
show straight from the inside. We need our
yes.
viewers to listen, watch, and pay attention.
That's
Share.
we had with Maurice. We had all of Maurice's pictures. Maurice Conyer was a gentleman who was badly beaten. Like he lost vision. They knocked him out. They took him to the hospital. I mean, it was just a horrible situation. And Heidi Sparks was able to get him moved to, with the help of a lot of different people, moved to a different institution, but they didn't bring his legal paperwork. These are the type of issues we're talking about. Another thing, thank you, is the vaccine in the prisons. We need the vaccine. Our loved ones definitely need vaccines, and then mentors.
And Tamara, while I don't mean to interrupt you, but we do have a question about the vaccine, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it up on the screen. And it says, "Are we pushing for vaccines?" Now, please don't judge us for what we feel. We all are entitled to our own personal opinions. Do not hold each other accountable for what we feel. But go ahead, Tamara. You're already into the subject, so go ahead and answer it from your standpoint.
Go ahead. Are we pushing for the vaccine? No, we're not. We're not pushing it for it right now, only because we don't know what's in that vaccine. And we already know how this country has messed over our loved ones while in prison. They've been guinea pigs. I don't want them to be guinea pigs. I'm not.
And let's speak on it because I'm sure you can agree as much as I can agree. We've seen the J-Pay blast and everything else. Our incarcerated people are being given $5 towards their commissary to take the vaccine.
So
and when they do it, it's being credited as a something death. But it's insane what they're titling this vaccine. And it makes a lot of people concerned. And they're like, $5? What's $5 on my commissary? It's not worth it. But go ahead.
That's scary. That's really scary when you think about it, because what's in it?
It came to me. It's being considered a death benefit.
Wow.
I mean, would you get something? I mean, if they were like, "Hey, look, I'll give you," I mean, you see, like, and I will be honest and straightforward. I've never been a political person, and I did not vote for the president. I will be honest with you. However, I do live in Cuyahoga County.
I know.
And it was most definitely needed to vote in my county, right? So I voted for everything but. And with my whole thing with Biden, like, they're saying that, like, there was one story, if you got the vaccine, you get the stimulus check. Like, why are we bribing people? We're not children.
Exactly.
So, I mean, more power to people who are vaccine or getting vaccinated. And I mean, we don't know. It's new, and for those that don't feel that it's okay or safe, like, all we have to do is sit back and watch. We're going to see it eventually unfold.
I think that's what Teresa and I was talking about. We're going to sit back and watch the data as it comes out first, and then make an informed decision based upon that.
Right, but when it comes to our incarcerated people, we go back to the whole guinea pig thing.
Exactly, and they are definitely
and our elderly.
I saw conspiracy theorists that had something to do with. I don't even want to mention that because people will take that and run with it.
Yeah, we don't want to lose our support system. Just personal opinion, but I mean, honestly, like, these are the things that we face day to day. Period. I mean, I know, like, lately, like, in the beginning of COVID, Alexis can vouch, we were getting a lot of medical conditions, abuse of power, just stupid stuff. And it's like, we have 50,000 people incarcerated in Ohio.
Yeah.
Just between us, and then Gay Lisa must have had connection problems, but just even still, that's 3 organizations. That's still not enough to tackle all the issues we have going on right now in ODRC.
I'm still here,
period.
Right?
You're there. I just don't see your face. You're good. But even still, like, there's just too much work to be done for one organization to be working on it, period. Like, we all have to come together in unity as a force and go with it. Like, look, my problem is your guys' problem, and it's the same problem they're having. Now we build a village, right? But even still, it still gave it birth to Goliath.
Right.
And absolute power corrupts absolutely. So as long as DRC knows they have power, regardless who we are, because let's be real, how many letters and calls have you made, and they just basically treat you like you are your incarcerated person?
They do. They constantly do.
No offense, but I've never been in jail. I've never been incarcerated. I've never been convicted of a real crime. Let's just keep it at that. But I still deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. I don't care if I have a loved one in the system. That don't mean you can treat me however you feel.
Oh, I wholeheartedly agree with that. But you know what? We look at it from a little bit different outlook. Yes, it's a lot of people that need to not only be in prison but underneath the prison, But also, I believe that because they're with the state or the federal or city or whatever, that makes them responsible for them, and that they should be treated in a humane way, which is our major issue going on. They're not being treated like human beings. They're being treated because of...
And they're understaffed.
They're slaves to the system.
They're slaves, which we're going to get to that.
Because that's how I was talking about yesterday. They're slaves to the system. And what you guys were talking about was, the 13th Amendment. But not only that, I think that one of the things that BAM is really trying to focus on as well, though, is that reentry piece that starts from within on the way out, internal to external, and making sure that people who are ready mentally, start to focus on coming home and dealing with the barriers and the issues. And that's where our mentorship program from juvenile and up is going to come in. We're in the process of building a program that focuses, on our juveniles and our adults, a mentorship that has an internship, and we're going to keep it pushing and try to deal with all of those issues. But we can't really do that when we're constantly getting phone calls, or when we're constantly, nonstop getting phone calls about an array of stuff. And by the way, we don't deal with everything because
it's hard to deal with them individually. I mean, we fight for them as a whole.
To me today, he said, I don't have no hot water. He said, but it's okay because I put myself here.
Right. It's taking accountability for your actions.
Right.
Let's be real. A lot of them are suffering consequences and truly are innocent of the crime that they're convicted of.
And there's a lot of people like that.
So, I mean, we need people to be like-minded.
I heard you talk yesterday. Ashley, I think you touched on
Alexis.
I'm sorry, Alexis. Forgive me.
No, we have an Ashley on board, but that's Alexis.
I know. Is that... y'all these days. I think you guys touched on it yesterday, was the old law to the new law, the 1996. And so I'm learning now that a lot of people are still sitting in prison because of the old law.
Right. And listen, so let's throw an example out there. So, okay, we got an old law guy and a new law guy in a cell. They're selling together, okay, new law guy has an outdate. Unless he has life, he has an outdate, okay? But one thing that new law guy does not have to do is see the parole board. He does not have to answer to his consequences. He don't have to answer to nobody about the RIB tickets. He can get in a fight every single day. He has an outdate.
Wow.
Someone that is a lifer or someone that was sentenced prior to 1996, they have to answer to the parole board. They have to answer to every single RIB, RIB ticket, ticket, whatever they did, they have to answer to that. And that's what's making it really hard for people to get parole because, a new law guy will make it complicated for an old law guy just to keep them where they're at. And that's a lot of the incarcerated people versus incarcerated people chaos. When they're fighting, normally it's probably an old law versus a new law, and it sucks because this guy, the old law guy, is going to be held up to here. This guy, nothing. And that's a huge problem. I don't know. Thank you. Thank you, Lex.
We need to focus on that.
No, we do, because we have 4 laws, and I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with this, but we have 4 laws running our penal system right now. Why? For what? I mean, it's 2021. Things have changed. It's time to update them policy procedures. It's time to update them laws. It's time to update our Constitution.
Yes.
Especially that 13th Amendment.
13th Amendment.
Which, I mean, you guys came out in solidarity with us. We did the Free the 13th movement. That was a national movement. We were in coalition with people across the states with the Free the 13th movement. And people, and look, I got people all the time telling me, like, damn, G, I didn't even know that's what that said. Like, I didn't know that's what that meant. Yes, it does. Slavery is very much alive inside of our penal system because of the 13th Amendment, because of that exception clause.
Right.
And like I said, I already said that yesterday. Cecil Thomas, we're looking for you. We support what you're doing. We know you have the people's, the people's rights and everything else at hand. We know you're the man to do it. We just want to support you, back you, and get out here. And we've been telling people what he's been doing. I mean, you could look at my Facebook page all day long. Cecil Thomas.
Yes.
I sat down at the table with him. We talked juvenile reform, the whole 9 yards. And then he came up with the juvenile bill. It died, though. And that's the problem. Like, all these bills that we need, people aren't paying attention. It's up to us, period, to change anything.
I just want to, with that saying that, it would be nice if people would step up and get involved, because right now it's a handful of all of us doing the work together, which I mean, we're strong in numbers.
We're okay with that, but we need more.
But we need more, and we need men. We need men to step up as well.
And formerly incarcerated, especially formerly incarcerated. You guys live that.
Yeah, we need you guys, to help, because one of the disparities that we see, as you see disparities amongst the prison system, is the women. We support the men, no problem. But
that's
men,
why I thank God for your guys' group, because I see y'all attacking the women's prisons, and I love it. I do. I mean, obviously, there's many more men than there is women, but I appreciate BAM for going hardcore for our women in Ohio. And I wish we could. Our database, as far as the women's prisons go, it's limited. Can you hear me? Oh, I think Tamara, I think she's losing connection, maybe.
I can hear you, G.
Okay. All right. So while she's on standby, Tamara, how about our guest? Can you hear us?
I can't hear you. Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, I can't hear y'all.
So go back out and come back in. Go out, come back in. There we go. So real quick, while we're trying to figure out technical difficulties, you guys know how people's internet and Wi-Fi goes. It's hit or miss sometimes. But I do want to bring up something. Hang on, I'm going to go full screen for a second here. I'm going to share my screen. Just a recap on what I'm about to share. This family's been reaching out to me probably for about the last 6 months. And what really bothers me about this situation is a man that I worked with, Gary, he had the same name as this guy. And the one day he reached out to us on JPay, and when he reached out to us, is she back in? I heard a ding. Oh, there she goes. When he had reached out to us, I had asked my friend, like, hey, look, are you good? Good?
I'm good.
Okay, we're talking about what the picture that we had shared, the Lake Erie thing.
Yes.
So I had worked with a young man. I had said to him, like, hey, look, is your father incarcerated? And he was like, no, why? And I'm like, well, a guy with the same name as you reached out to us wanting help. He's going through a medical condition. And it was just, a coincidence, weird thing to me, right? And he was like, actually, Gina, that's my mom's, her ex-boyfriend. I was named after him. So obviously it got personal at that point, right? Because he already supports Gary Conway from Characters. I love you. I did do an interview with him. He does what's it called? WMA. He does that like that wrestling stuff. Okay.
Oh,
And I did
WWE.
a interview with him. He supports everything that I do. And like when this guy reached out to me and he had the same name as him, I'm just like, whoa, wait a minute, right? Well, his family's been reaching out to us as well. And I feel bad because it's been about 6 months. And yesterday when I got these actual pictures that I'm about to show and pull up and share screen, when I got these pictures, I was extremely concerned because when they were telling me that their brother, it was his two sisters of his, has reached out to me probably every other week. I mean, and I got a full-time job already and I'm doing this too. So it's hard to get to everybody. But I mean, they kept on me like, Gina, look, this happened. And now this happened. And now this happened. And Tamara, even as one organization handling those type of situations, we do the best we can to try to get the input and the outcome and accountability first and foremost. But it's still hard. But when they were telling me that their brother's shoulder was popping out of place, like we could picture that, okay? And I'm asking for our viewers, once I pop this picture on screen, when I tell you that his shoulder was popping out of place, when I give you the visual, I want to know if what I'm saying to you right now clicks and if the picture is actually worse than someone telling you that. So when I get this picture yesterday, I felt horrible. Why? Because we have acted upon it. We've been in correspondence with Gary. Actually, now that I know which institution he's at, I myself had a personal conversation with the assistant warden at Lake Erie Correctional Institute, which is a private facility. They're part of Core Civic. We only have 3 of them in Ohio, which, Biden just signed that executive order, no new private prisons, but this is one of them. And me and the assistant warden had a heart-to-heart, and he has a stepson that is incarcerated in PA. And they were going to give us, Lexus talked about the rallies. When we rallied at Lake Erie, they were going to give us the permission to rally on the property, on private property, because that's how considerate and compassionate this man was. Okay, so now my next goal will be to reach back out to him and talk to him. But I'm going to go ahead and pull up, I'm going to share my screen and then pull up this picture of this man's shoulder. Hang on one second. Did it share? Is it sharing my screen? Can somebody let me know?
It is, but you have to, we're only seeing like his chin.
No, I kind of wanted to blur his face out.
Oh, that's true. Can you, yeah.
Do you see me circling it? Lex?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Okay. So do you guys see this? This is absolutely uncalled for.
That's his bone. That's his collarbone right there.
Yes, that's sad. And like I said, when they told me his bone was popping out, literally out his shoulder, this is not how I would ever imagine it looking.
No.
You know what? I am going to pull up another picture. It's going to show his face. And honestly, I already have. Oh, no, it didn't do it. Sorry. Hold on. Let me see.
That has to be so painful. I just had shoulder surgery on my rotator cuff, and I know what I went through with that. This man's suffering. I mean, can you imagine how much pain that is right there?
I mean, I couldn't imagine.
It's awful.
I mean, that's sickening. And to know that he's in a private prison, they're profiting more than our state prisons, right? Hold on, let me stop sharing screen. There we go. So he should be getting adequate medical attention. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, I know people see eye for an eye, this, that, and the other, but this man only has a 3-year sentence. He's due for release in 2022. Why can he not, during a pandemic, come home? Brooke, you got to mute, babe. Oh, somebody's got to mute. Oh, there we go. Why can't he come home? We need to make room into our prisons anyways. ODRC, Ohio Department of corrections. I don't even want to say rehabilitation because there's no rehabilitation period. And I don't know, it doesn't come up with the name, but we have a comment that says, and no pain. Look, and no pain meds, I'm sure. Absolutely not. They don't get any of that, period. But yeah, it's sickening. This man deserves, he has 2 COs that are vouching for him right now. He did drop the names for them to me. Now knowing, seeing it firsthand, what his shoulder looks like, you best believe I'm not going to overlook this situation. And I'm thankful that BAM is willing. We talked about it yesterday. They're willing. They're on board. They're willing to, hey, we're going to blow up the warden. We're going to email them. Hey, look, something's got to be done. We're demanding something to be done. I mean, if you guys can't provide this man care and physical therapy, let him go. Compassionate release, because they can do that.
It's medical neglect, because when you are incarcerated, you are basically a slave of the state. So they are responsible for you. So the fact that they are not giving him the medical attention that he needs, it's medical neglect. And they need to let him go, just like you said, or get him. I'm sorry, that man needs surgery. He needs to see an orthopedic. As a nurse, I can tell he needs to see an orthopedic surgeon.
I absolutely agree. Physical therapy, something. And then to just keep pushing. Actually, and this is the thing, this man, because he's not getting adequate care, is going on suicide watch. Ashley, do you want to explain what suicide watch means and what that entails?
Suicide watch is basically like being in the hole. You are only let out. I mean, I know more about Mississippi because I worked in the Mississippi prison, but in Mississippi, when you were on suicide watch, you were in a closed cell. You only came out Monday, Wednesday, and Friday just for a shower. You did not tell the cause.
You're breaking up.
Hello?
Ashley, you're breaking up, babe.
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So when you're on suicide watch, you don't even have a bed. You're sleeping on the floor on a mat, and you're given what they call a turtle suit. You have no underwear, no nothing. It's like, it's very inhumane.
It is extremely inhumane. So yeah, so that was like I said, his family and shout out to Darlene and the other sister. I'm sorry I can't place the name right now, but I even told them yesterday, like, thank you so much for just doing, like, staying on me, blowing me up. Like, hey, look, I don't know if you forgot about us, which Ashley, we've talked about it. Lex, we've talked about it. Like, look, I got this guy, you know, they're saying this, they're saying that, but you know, it's hard to deal with individual situations. Epic, for the most part, tries to fight for all of them as a whole. We know the statistics. We know how much it costs to incarcerate per person. We know how over capacity we are. So like our biggest goal is to break the gates in general and bring those people that are deserving to come home, because nature of crime will never go away. However, people do change. And that's what Epic's been trying to do, is changing the narrative of people who are incarcerated, which I like the term that Gay Lisa said, former justice involved or presently justice involved and formerly present justice involved. That's all about changing the narrative. You know, people say inmate, no, we choose incarcerated people. People say violent offenders, no, they committed a violent offense. I mean, to me, a violent offender is somebody that repeatedly keeps offending the same violent offense. For a first-time offender to be charged with a violent offense, that doesn't make them a violent offender in my eyes. And, you know, everybody has their own perspectives, this, that, and the other. Our biggest thing is we feel that people that aren't affected by incarceration simply don't care. But what we try to do is let people know that even though you feel you don't have someone that's incarcerated that you're supporting, that you're paying for, you know, commissary, J-Pay, I mean, it's expensive. I could screen share my you know, my credit cards with you real quick and let you know how much it costs for me to keep my husband in tune. but it's very expensive. Like all these companies that are investing into our incarcerated loved ones, and to us, that's who they are. They're incarcerated people. But to the state across the United States, they're slaves. And I say this because if you read the 13th Amendment and you see that semicolon, that means our incarcerated people are slaves. They just changed the narrative with the 13th Amendment. It should read, no slavery, period. 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 And I mentioned Cecil Thomas earlier. He has a bill right now that is SJR 5. That means Senate Joint Resolution 5. Yeah. He's trying to make Ohio the trailblazers. We're trying to abolish that 13th Amendment. And ourselves and BAM by any means, that's their organization, we met up and protested downtown Columbus in front of the State House, in front of the Rife Center, to make sure these lawmakers know, like, it's time to end slavery in Ohio. And then weeks later, and Lex, you are my witness, weeks later, Cecil Thomas came out with that Senate joint resolution. And I was like, oh my God. It was perfect for us, perfect time. So now what EPIC is trying to do is we are actually trying, if anybody has connection to Cecil Thomas, please. EPIC has been emailing him. Hey, look, we're on board. We want to make sure that this passes. We don't want this to die. We don't want it to drop, because that's what's happening to these important bills, because we, the people, aren't paying attention. We're letting them slip these bills through like we don't care. I mean, I know you see it. Actually, Rachel Coyle. I'm going to give Rachel a shout out because I love what she does. And if it wasn't for her, before I came across her, like, and Lex will tell you, I stay on top of JCAR, which means, though, that's the agency, rule regulation agency, where every time something is going to be going into the committee, like I get an email that this bill's coming up, this bill's being heard, this is their first hearing, the second hearing, the third hearing. I stay up on that. Not only that, but I also stay up on Rule Watch Ohio. Did I say that right? I think I did. Rule Watch Ohio. And what that does, you can do whatever government agency you want, whether it be the governor, the attorney general, whoever, whatever rules and regulations they have, whenever they're trying to change them, it pops up on that site. And you can actually have it emailed to you every time they make a change to that government agency. And my personal favorite, obviously, is Ohio Department of Corrections. And every time they try to do a rule change, which anyone who fights for our incarcerated people know that they slip them through.
Yeah.
We testified on that.
Before you go on, you mentioned Rachel Coyle. If you're all on, obviously, most of you are on Facebook. There's a public group called How Things Work at the Ohio State House.
And they're on Twitter.
The posts, I mean, the stuff that I've learned just from that group is amazing. I would have never guessed, never known, never been exposed to it unless it was from that group and from what she puts out there. Pete Van Leer with the Ohio Justice Policy Center, I believe he...
No, he's with Policy Matters Ohio.
That's right. I'm sorry. I get it all mixed up. He posts on there a lot too. So it's a wealth of information for those who don't know or don't understand how things move through the House and move through the Senate. I was oblivious to that before I started with EPIC, and my eyes have been opened. Much more to learn, but if you want to learn, the info's out there, and through the House of Representatives website, you can look on the different committees, Criminal Justice Committee, the Senate, Ohio Senate website, the Ohio Supreme Court.
Checkbook.gov.ohio.
Mm-hmm.
So, real quick, I'm going to share that too after you're done, Lex. I think we should share with our viewers the statistics of payroll when it comes to our government agencies. I know I talk about it all the time, but maybe if I put the proof out there, they'll be like, oh my God, she's telling the truth. So go ahead and finish.
I don't know where I left off because I know
You're
you
talking about
get
those sites, those
get
beneficial
excited.
sites.
Oh, the Ohio Supreme Court is a great website too. You can listen in on hearings. They record them. Unfortunately, they put the DRC on there, but they always either cut off the parole hearings or they won't save them. I don't know how many times we've all tried to sit in on those, or at least to view them, and we can't. You know, they don't want that made public. But yeah, the information's out there if you want to learn and you want to do something. You know, it just takes a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of ambition, and we can do a lot.
Yeah, together everyone achieves more. We know that's what Epic runs by. That's our motto right there. And I'm very thankful for our team. Unfortunately, Brooke is a part of Epic. She is our secretary. Not sure what happened with Bam. Obviously, it must be an internet connection. Karina, I know you're sitting down below, but if you like thumbs up us and want to come in, I'll put you in for Bam. You want to come in? All right, I got her. Here comes Karina. She's with Bam. Like I said, this was a panel discussion on all the things that our organizations have been handling. Karina, I appreciate you. I just want to say first and foremost, thank you so much for handling the women's prison. We know that the women get left out a lot, but I commend you for the dedication and the support that you're giving to these women. And any of our correspondents, I tell them all the time, if Bam hits you up, please, by any means, they're a part of us. And I am so thankful that our women aren't left out. You know what I mean? Like, we only have so many correspondents, Jillian Holder, Callie Armstrong, she's in DCI. But I'm thankful and blessed that you guys have that support with the women's group, because more than 9 times out of 10, obviously we know they get left behind. So if you want to go ahead, I know Tamara was having some issues, but I want you to speak on the issues within the women's prison, because as you know, as women, all of us, it takes a lot to keep our hygiene going, period.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we know that the only thing that our incarcerated people, whether you're male or female, the only thing that's given to them is 2 rolls of toilet paper a week. For the most part, there's nothing else given. People say that they got the life, they got free TV, they got this, they got that. No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. While you're talking about the women that are incarcerated in Ohio, I'm going to go ahead and pull up the Ohio checkbook. I just want to give that visual to people that are on the outside, like how much DRC is being paid versus these people down here, in case they're too lazy to pull up checkbook. I want to put that visual on it. You go ahead and speak. I'm going to take my camera up, bring up our next talk. And like I said, okay. Karina, I appreciate you. I know you're going through a lot. But I want you to know
I'm still hanging in there.
Oh, no, I know. I'm quite not over, and it's not going to be over. But I appreciate you, regardless what you're going through right now. You still stand up and you fight, and that's what we need.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
My daughter is incarcerated in one of the prisons, so it's mind-boggling to me. They have, one of the situations we have are the women that have been in the basement area since August. If anybody knows ORW, it's called the White House, and there's a basement area, and it was shut down for at least 10 years. And they moved the women from RN1, the honor dorm, down to this basement area to use RN1 for the COVID patients. And this basement area hadn't been used, hadn't been cleaned or anything like that. So the area, from what I've been told, is damp. There's mold, there's roaches, there's mice. The ventilation is ridiculous. It's either too hot or too cold. The water's not working. And they've been there since August. And these are honor dorm women that have earned their place, done the programs and things like that, you know, get them to that level. And they just kind of, and every time I call over there, it's like, you know, well, we're doing the best we can and this and that and the other thing. It's like, no, this is whoever made this plan up, they're getting paid way too much, you know, because they didn't have a plan. They haven't had a plan for the whole state of Ohio. They're going by a plan from 2009 for infectious disease. This is like no other thing that we've seen. And they've made moves with people and caused all kind of issues, you know, with cross-contamination, not testing. They stopped testing back in May? Was it May? I think. They just basically gave up. And I'm talking about all the prisons. They basically just gave up.
They have. I've been hearing that the only people that they are testing nowadays are people that are transferring out because it's a DRC policy.
Right.
While Karina's talking, I'm going to go ahead and share screen again and bring up DRC's payroll. I want you guys to pay attention, please. How far at top they sit, how far down I scroll. I want you to be visual of how much our DRC employees are being paid. And like Karina said, they're being paid big bucks. Some of these staff members are being paid $40 to $50 an hour. I'm just saying, and I'm going to bring up Annette Chambers. I'm going to bring up Annette Chambers' salary as well. But I want people to be visual of how far up DRC sits, which is at the top of any government agency, and how far down our education, our teachers are sitting. And it's going to take me a second to roll, so please bear with me. But Karina, keep talking. While you're talking, I'm going to share screen and bring up DRC's payroll.
Okay.
I think you're muted. Karina, are you muted?
Another situation that we've had is a lack of hot water. And I know that Wheeler had an issue, but I think that area got resolved. And then Kennedy dorm has too hot of water. The boilers aren't working correctly. And in the area of Kennedy, back in the back area of the second floor, the heat is not working properly. I get told multiple times a week that the heat is still not working. I called on that on December 4th, and they keep telling me, oh, it's construction issues. Oh, we went in there and took the temperature, and it was in the 70s. Well, that was in the front area, but if you go to the back area where I'm getting reports from, they're still telling me they're freezing, wearing multiple layers and stuff like that. So, you know, they're saying, oh, we're trying to be transparent and everything. And it's just, I'm not getting the information. They're not being transparent. I'm sorry. They're not.
There is no transparency. And actually, I am sharing the screen of payroll for each government agency. And at the top of the page, Karina, I don't know if you can see what I'm seeing or not.
Maybe if I turn my phone.
No, don't worry about it. I mean, the viewers can see it.
We can see it.
Okay. At the top of this page, Karina, if you can't see it, it states putting government transparency at your fingertips. Okay. Department of Rehabilitations and Corrections, for people that are viewing it and seeing it, you see at the top, $832 million And underneath them is Department of Transportation with $345 million. Between the two, it's a $500 million difference. Why? Why? Underneath that, public safety. Then you got mental health and addiction, which is $206 million. No offense, but that should be sitting over DRC. You go down, you go down. If anybody can see my pointer right here, Department of Education. $50 million for payroll. Why are our teachers being paid less than correction officers? Because it's that school to prison pipeline. And that's what people don't understand is it's very serious. And if you don't know about it, please Google. Google will tell you whatever you need to know. 95% of the time, it's the truth. I mean, this don't lie. This is transparent. This is a government site. As you see up here, checkbook.ohio.gov salaries. These are salaries for direction of rehabilitation. Now, let me show you how far you can take this site. You click on this. Give it a second to load. Huh? What?
Names.
Oh, look at them hourly rates. And those are physicians with our free medical for our incarcerated people. And when we say free medical, they're getting every bit of free medical, meaning they're not getting nothing else extra because it's free. And people are like, oh, they get free medical. Okay, well, define free medical. Please do. I just showed you a picture of a man whose shoulder is basically popping out of place, his collarbone, and they're not willing to do anything for him. He's not a man that committed rape. He's not a man that is a child molester. He's not none of that. He's in there for an assault charge.
Well, let's be clear, G. Let's be clear. Even if you are one of those people, you don't deserve to be treated that way.
No, you don't deserve to be treated any less than a human being. And I feel like people are like, oh, they're being treated like animals. No, I'm not an animal person, period. Okay. I won't neglect your animal if I walk in your house, but they are breathing. They breathe oxygen. I feel anything that breathes oxygen is mankind, and they should be treated as such with dignity and respect, period. So I don't even like people saying, oh, well, they're being treated like animals. No, because animals still deserve to be treated as such as well.
Animals get treated better.
Hey, y'all. This is our prison director, Miss Annette Chambers Smith. She makes $160,000 a year. A year to maintain our prisons. And the job she's been doing, especially during COVID, is unacceptable. And even during her term since DeWine appointed her is unacceptable. This woman, I sat down at a table with her twice. The first time was very unpleasant. The second time we had a grown type conversation. And she told us she was all about prison reform. She was all about doing the right thing. She told us things that she was implementing. And I can promise you, we have proof that the things that she implemented, which are their quote unquote guidelines for the parole board, their rules and regulations. I'm echoing. Somebody mute, please. They're not being implemented. I have solid proof, especially when she said she was taking staff input. So if a warden was willing to tell somebody that so-and-so is ready for release, that implementation, all of that was not even taken into consideration because we have solid proof that any input from the staff members of DRC for any parole has not been opened for a year. These are rules you set for your agency, and they're not even following them. When will we hold people accountable? So Annette Chambers, this is her salary for the year. She makes almost $80 an hour to do nothing. Let's open this up. Let's look at her last paycheck. So I'm saying, like, if you guys aren't hit to this site, please, by any means, go look it up. I mean, this, like it says at the top, putting transparency at your fingertips. It's there for you guys. Really? December 19th, she made almost $6,000 during that pay period. I don't know anybody that makes paychecks like these people. Period. I don't. I mean, it's sickening to me. And us as taxpayers, we're condoning this. We're doing this. I mean, look at that. All the way from last year, 12/21/2019. she's made no less than $5,500. I mean, is it not sickening?
And part of what we're doing right here, I know most of the people on here are probably similar to us and who have people that are inside. If that's the case, share this information, because the general public does not have a clue. The general public who has been watching Governor DeWine's press conferences since COVID has happened has seen the director on there a few times. She has not been transparent at all. She has a medical background. You would think she would have a little bit of more compassion as to what's going on inside. We need to, as advocates, make people who aren't in this circle, who have no connection or no affiliation with incarceration or prisons or any of that, those are the people that we want to educate. We love all of our advocates, all of our supporters, all of the people that walk beside us who are fighting. But the people that we need to reach, and that's part of our jobs, is the people that have no idea what's going on. So share. If you want to share this little link with something, on it, share with your Facebook friends and family. People need to know. And unfortunately, you tend to believe what you see in the media, and she has the state buffaloed. He has the state buffaloed as to what's going on inside. And it's a shame. It's a shame.
I do have a screen sharing right now. This employee paycheck is the warden of Marion Correctional Institute, who was just recently awarded Warden of the Year. I will tell you, first and foremost, from the beginning of COVID, a lot of our incarcerated people that are incarcerated at Marion for months never seen the warden. She kept herself away from being infected with COVID when it came inside the prisons. This right here goes to show you her last pay period. She made $4.5, we should say, $1,000 as a warden. So she made $2,000 less than our prison director, who is over every prison. And then just here, if you look right here where it says right here, 11/21, this is how much leave conversion she made for that week. That paycheck, okay? I'm gonna pull it up. So she made $4,600 for normal pay, right? On top of that, she made $3,000 extra for leave conversion. I would love to know why she was on leave conversion back in November. Now, this is her paychecks ever since last year, which this is 2019, okay? COVID's been going on since 3, which we're right here, of 2020, okay? Her base earnings were pretty much the same up until COVID. You can see right here, she went up a little bit, right? Here's her normal pay right here. But every month since COVID, she's been making more, but she's not been being seen. This is the problem that Epic is having when it comes to those that are affected by mental health. These mental health nurses aren't being seen. People aren't being seen as usual, like normal prior to this pandemic. But yet these people are making overtime. And right here, look, I don't even have to pull them up by name. You can see it right here. When you pull this up, it goes by top dollar. Sorry. Yep, there we go. It's not what I wanted to do. There we go. But you see it. Physician, administrative. And then it just gets deeper and deeper and deeper. This is page 1. We can hit next somewhere, I think. Hold on. Oh, right here. We just keep scrolling. Hold on a second, guys. Sorry. But you just go down, like physicians and nurses, like they're making all this money. Look, $70, $40, $50, up here it was $100 and some an hour. That's hourly rates right here. It's sickening. Why do we not have COVID inside the prisons under control? And one thing Epic was doing, like each rally, we went every Saturday. I think there was one Saturday we missed and we postponed that event. But consecutively every Saturday we went rallying during COVID to bring awareness to the communities that these prisons are sitting in, that COVID's not going away until we address the situation inside the prisons, period. Look, psychologists, $60 an hour. You know, like this is sickening. And I don't know if you see this. I mean, how much these people are making. They're making more than our lawmakers. They're making more than our teachers and everything else. Why? Because we are at 130% over capacity inside of our prisons. Now is the time to come together and change that situation, period. We have to. There's no other way around it. And we can't do it alone. We can't do it organization versus organization. And even organization that are like collaborating, like us and BAM and ALHH. There's a lot of other organizations that we are in coalition with, not only just in Ohio, but throughout the United States. And it's going to take more. It's going to take the voters. We need you guys to vote. We need you guys to do your research. We need you guys to boots on ground. If you're not physically capable of showing up to our rallies, if you're not capable of showing up at the State House to help us push these bills and these laws, donate, share, like, comment. I mean, that's the least anyone can do. And real quick, I just want to put those credentials out there because a lot of people ask, how can I help? Well, if you can't show up, you're not able to send emails because that's not your thing. You don't feel like calling to talk to people, donate. $5 goes a long way with an organization. For every 5 people, that's printer ink. You know, printer ink, paper, envelope, stamps, JPay stamps. We have 3 different JPays that we correspond with. And for 60 stamps, so for 60 JPays to be sent out, it cost us $12 per 60. It's costly. For this platform that we were given, it's costly. We have to pay for it. And the only way 501c3s run is through donation. So, I mean, if you can't help out, boots on ground, you want to support, help, share, like, comment. If you want to go an extra step, please donate. And with Epic, we have Cash App, we have Venmo, we have PayPal. You know, their Facebook made it easy to request money, send money. I mean, reach out to us. Let us know, like, hey, look, I'd like to donate. Even if it's $5 or even a couple of dollars, we appreciate every penny. Every penny it extends. By any means, donate to them. Please do. We need donations to keep our organizations running. And I know with us, with the board that we have, a lot of our material, the gas mileage, we do it on our own because this is our passion, our drive. But let's be real. We're fighting for 50,000 incarcerated people in just Ohio. If we can get at least half of their families involved, we can make real big moves. Real big moves.
G, turn your camera on, honey. We can't see your face.
Oh, I'm sorry. How about not? There we go. Sorry, I forgot I was screen sharing and I was still on the screen I was on. But yeah, please, by any means, just donate, share, like, comment. I know that advocating is an extremely hard job. Lex will tell you, like, my biggest thing with my girls is I tell them all the time, you know, it's hard. It's David versus Goliath when we're fighting like DOC. Honestly, it really is. And one voice, one organization, it ain't gonna do anything. But like I tell my girls, like, if you persuade one person a day, imagine how many people that one person's going to persuade out their lifetime. If you can persuade one person a day, your job for the day is done. And I work in an atmosphere, it's a sports bar and grill. So obviously I work and wait on a lot of people with different opinions, different backgrounds, different atmospheres, the whole 9 yards. So to be able to preach on like what I do in my free time and to be able to convince them, like once I start, you know, because you know me, I'm all about numbers, the statistics, the $832 million that we're investing in payroll for our DRC people. No, I wish I could make a third of what they're making and sit comfortably. It's got to stop. People say our system's broken. It's not. Our system's not broken. Our system is set up the way it was intended to be. Period. It was intended to keep our prisons full. And like I said, 130% over capacity in Ohio. But I promise you, Ohio is not the only one that has these issues. It's all across the United States. And the more that I collaborate with those across the states and hear about their states, their parole conditions, mandatory minimums, we gotta do away with that shit. I mean, we got people that are committing the same crimes that these people are getting life, death by incarceration, basically an LWOP sentence, a life without parole sentence, because we do have a judge in Ohio Supreme Court that stated life with a chance of parole is equivalent to a life without parole sentence. Why? Because of the parole board. They have absolute discretion. They can basically just flop on how they woke up and felt that day. They can flop at a maximum of 10 years. 10 years? I mean, someone already did 25 years. You flop them 10 more. Now they're already a decade beyond their minimum. And then the next time you're going to flop them 5 or 10 more years. Now they're 2 decades beyond their minimum. How much time is enough time to give somebody the opportunity to change, regardless of what they did? I mean, if they're a repeat offender, they're going to come back anyways. You're going to be able to hold them hostage. But those that really simply just made a mistake, give them the opportunity at a suitable parole. That's all we're asking. And define what makes them suitable for parole. Because as a person, as a citizen, in the Constitution, it states that they should have a meaningful opportunity at release. Ohio's not giving that.
And we have a big population of either juvenile or close to juvenile incarcerated. First, we can talk a whole lot about the juvenile getting convicted as an adult, but we also have a lot of adults who were sent and convicted at 18, 19, 20. Of course, you need to be responsible for your actions, but those who committed crimes that young are still sitting in prison, rehabilitated themselves, my husband being an example. He went in at 18. He's going to be 44. He doesn't have a life sentence. He's been given 2 continuances, so he's way over his minimum sentence of 15 years. So you have childlike adults, back in the 90s who are still in prison, and
no bodies. We have one particular guy that we correspond with. He wasn't convicted of murder. There's no one died, no one got hurt. He was a getaway driver as a juvenile, and he's in fact facing a death by incarceration sentence. Yeah. Not life without parole, but a death by incarceration, a chance at parole. But our parole board's not giving people chances. They're flopping at discretion for job security. And I wish I would have pulled it up, but you guys, I already shared the link, the Ohio checkbook. Like, seriously, go spend an hour just clicking, honestly.
Aside from that, though, too, I just want to comment real quick. The governor has been more vocal, and he's being seen more because of the COVID pandemic. And I think in one of his press conferences, when he started the reprieve process, the worst of the worst is who's left in prison. The worst of the worst we're not releasing. The worst of the worst, that's not true. You've got the same crimes being committed now, right? Then you did.
We're releasing murderers. We're releasing child sex offenders. We're releasing sex offenders. Every day they're coming back into society. Yeah. And let people speak on it, though. They have outdates, so their chances of recidivism is higher than someone that spent 30 years. You can talk upon that too.
Yeah, I mean, you have guys that continually come in and out. You have guys and women. I'm sorry, I don't mean to exclude the women, but you have a pre-Senate Bill 2, an old law incarcerated person who may have a aggravated kidnapping charge sitting under the parole board's thumb, maybe been continued a couple times, serving past their minimum. You have a woman or gentleman come in, same crime under the new law, post Senate Bill 2. They're gone. They're out. But guess what? A lot of those men and women, I could speak on the men, they come right back in. Do you know how disrespectful that must feel
for someone that's been in for 30 years? Absolutely.
Yes. You see, and I know, a lot of times, these old Buckeyes are like, talking to these young dudes like, are you crazy? I've been fighting to get out of here, and you've been out and in and out and back in again. It's disheartening for these guys, and they deserve it. They deserve to have a fair shot at parole. They have to have a fair shot at freedom. And, we have to be their voice right now. We have to be the ones
their struggle is our problems.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Whether we are affected by incarceration or not, it's our problem. We as taxpayers, it's our problem. It's time for us to stand up, speak out for what's right. What's right? What's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. And what DRC is getting away with right now is not right. And, me, I preach all the time, like people that aren't affected by incarceration simply don't care. But we as taxpayers are condoning this behavior. It's time for us to start caring, regardless if we have someone incarcerated or not, period. We will be ending this shortly. I did just post something. If anybody has any questions, please ask. We will answer them. I'm scrolling up now to catch any in case I missed them. However, I do want an individual person that's on this call right now. I'm sorry, a couple of them jumped off. I do want you guys to kind of share your own personal experience. If you're not willing to do it, just say pass.
Hey, real quick, Gina, why don't you mention the National Support a Prisoner Day, February 20th. We have an initiative, us and BAM, and mention the other orgs. I don't know off the top, or I don't remember.
Okay, so ourselves, EPIC, Ensuring Parole for Incarcerated Citizens, BAM, By Any Means. It's a Plus production as well. Positive Leaders United in Solidarity, as well as Adjusting Lives, Healing Heartgate. Lisa Carr, she was on the beginning of the call. Obviously, there were some technical difficulties. But in coalition with these organizations, we are doing a campaign for National Support a Prisoner Day, which is February 20th. It is a day. Google it. So National Support a Prisoner Day. It will start the first day of the campaign, but we're asking for a week long of this event, which is basically displaying your pain, PAIN, through your window pane, PANE. And what we're asking is for people that are infected by incarceration, or even if you're not affected, but you are against mass incarceration, if you're against slavery, to please participate in this event. We're asking that if anybody does decorate their window panes, to send their pictures, videos, whatever it is, to EPIC, EPIC, the letter X, TEAM, 20@gmail.com. That's epicxteam20@gmail.com. What we're trying to do is merge all the pictures and videos as one into a solidarity type movement video, put some background music to it. And what we're trying to do is show the communities that we live in the effect of mass incarceration. So I know where I'm at, where I live. My aunt lives next door. That I am affected by incarceration. My husband was wrongfully incarcerated as a juvenile, and he's been in for 20 years. So my aunt's this way, but my neighbor's this way. We don't talk. These people across the street, don't know many of them. But when I put on my window how I feel about mass incarceration, it's going to bring light to my community of the affection of incarceration I have. So I'm hoping that we can get a lot of people on board, and basically what our window pane will show is mass incarceration is serious. Slavery is very much alive, modern day slavery in our prison system. Free them all. If you can't get creative, and when I say creative, if you go to the craft store, Michael's, Joann's Fabric. I don't know. I know everybody's like, you know, everybody has their own craft stores in their own states and their own cities, but go to the craft store in your city. Chalk markers, window markers. And if you can't draw or you don't want to write on your windows, get electrical tape. Do your windows up and down like it's prison bars. And Gay Lisa actually put, and I love her, she put a very good idea out there. She's like, not just my house, girl. She's like, I'm doing my car windows too. Car windows. If you have people, if you have students that are in these universities and these colleges, you know, like Ohio State University. I used to love going to Columbus because every time I go to Ohio State on campus, they would use Post-it, you know, little Post-it picture, and they make a picture. Whether it'd say something or it was a picture of something, they were creative with those Post-it little note things. And whatever, your work. If your work's willing to do it, wherever, let's display our pain through our window panes to show our communities what the effect of mass incarceration is truly doing to society. Because, you know, people will say system's broke. No, it's not. It's really, really not. I'm going to promise you this is the way the system was intended to be. And I know that we have a lot of people that support us. They back us. They say the same exact thing, whether they're from Ohio, they're in Missouri with, you know, Mr. Kidd, Ricky Kidd, whether they're in where Max Parthas is, Abolish Slavery National Network. I don't care what organizations you're a part of. We all have the same agenda when it comes to the bigger picture. We're all on that same path to the road of recovery when it comes to mass incarceration. We all have our own agendas, but it's time for us to combine in unity. No egos. You can't lead with egos. No personal issues. You got to put them aside. We all might have different agendas. Like I said, BAM, they do a lot with medical. And we were doing it in the beginning of COVID, but it got just so overwhelmingly. And we only have 4 people on our board. We do have a big support system that are beside us. They're like, hey, look, what do you need me to do? I'll research. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll do that. But when it comes to medical, it's really hard to keep up on, and you have to keep the pressure going, which is why I love BAM. Karina, you and your guys' group, like I even told Tamara yesterday, I'm like, listen, we've been getting a lot of medical issues, and I'd rather just pass them to you guys because I know you guys are on the front line taking care of them issues. And the Conway guy that I shared earlier, I want that to be a BAM and, you know, a BAM and Epic. Like, look, we're about to start emailing that warden. I get the family's been calling the prison, but we know calling the prisons only does so much. We need to start emailing. And when we email in, we need to email the warden, the assistant warden, Miss Annette Chambers, Stuart Hudson, they all, and the regional director of whichever prison that's in. When you put all of them on an email chain together, they have no other option but to listen. And I'm going to give you an example from personal experience. I haven't seen my husband since October 19th of 2019. I was wrongfully banned indefinitely from seeing my husband, who I've known since we were 12 years. I've been on this journey this last time for 6. I was visiting him every single week at Trumbull Correctional Institution. Every week. Never missed a week. And if I missed a week, I doubled up 1 week. But I was there 4 times a month. He got 4 visits a month. I made sure he had his 4 visits. We got the opportunity to do a special event, something that his Bridge Mentor group was doing. Another incarcerated person was doing some things they shouldn't have been doing, but because we were sitting at the table with them, we basically went down as if we, as an accomplice, which I spoke about that yesterday on our call yesterday about the accomplice law in Ohio. It's very serious. Someone commits a crime, you're with them, guess what? You're going down just as long as they are. And you didn't do anything. You just drove away with them. But anyhow, they tried to indefinitely ban me. I ended up fighting it. And it took a force behind me to get my indefinitely ban down to 6 months. Now, unfortunately, my 6 months overlapped the COVID restriction in March. I was done in April. We were banned in March. So I haven't seen my husband since October of 2019. But when I say this, if it wasn't for the support that I had and the people behind me and the connections that I had, I wouldn't have known what to do. I could still to this day be indefinitely banned. But because I paper trailed it by email, and when I say that, I emailed the warden of his institution and they were in between a switch off between wardens, but I emailed the old warden. I emailed the assistant. I put Annette Chambers on there. I put the regional director and a couple other people. And when they seen that it wasn't being replied to from the institution, someone higher up intervened on that email and was like, hey, look, what's going on with the situation? What's the update? So when you let the institution know, like, look, I'm not just coming at you guys, I'm going higher up too. You guys are all on this email thread. They have no other option but to respond. And I always tell people, like, even in the long run, paper trail is everything. You can say you called, but if you're not recording those calls like Gina does, there's no say-so on it. There's no proof. There's no nothing. Paper trail, email. I can't say that enough, honestly. And when you email, put them all on there. Let them all see. Hey, look, I'm not just letting you know. I'm letting everybody above you know too. So I'm asking for some type of accountability, a response, or something, because I'm not in your institution. I deserve to have some dignity, respect, and I deserve for you to do the right thing. And I'm going to tell you what, it puts fire up their butts. So we got to apply the pressure, and we have to stay on top of it, and we got to keep applying the pressure, period. And with that being said, like, we can do this in unity. I really feel like we can bring very much hope to our incarcerated people if we could all just work together. I mean, I get it. Everybody has their own agendas. We all, do our own thing, but together we are truly a force. And I am very thankful that we have built with BAM. We've built with Gay Lisa and her organization. We actually have some really good future endeavors with both groups. We're in this for the long run. We're not going anywhere, period. So we just ask for our supporters to keep supporting. Even when it looks like we're not doing anything, just know behind them doors, behind them scenes, day and night, we're all working. Every single one of us. So please keep the hope, keep the faith, keep supporting your incarcerated people, because right now they need us. They're not being burdens. They're going through just as much as us in the free world are. Right now it's trying times for all of us. It's mentally draining, emotionally draining, physically draining. Just imagine what they're going through, because I could never imagine being in the same house. And I love my kids to death, but they've been going through this for a year. Could you imagine being in a house enclosed for a year? No activities, no outdoor activities, no programs, no nothing. You're in with the same household for a year and you can't even go outside on your own. I couldn't deal with it. Right now are trying times, so we definitely need to be in support of our prisoners. Let's knock this February 20th week-long campaign off. I would love to get at least a 3-minute video together full of just pictures, love, support, so that we can get them inside the institutions to bring up these people's hopes, dreams, and their faith, because right now there's nothing. We have a lot of reports about drugs being in the prison, which it's nothing new because of COVID. This has been happening. But right now, our biggest fight is the fact that family members are many a times, how should I say this? We're disciplined, basically. We get visits cut out. We get harassed, this, that, and the other, because it's said that we bring the drugs on the inside, when, let's be real, it's a quick CO hustle. They're selling cell phones for $1,000. They're buying them. We can get a cell phone for $100, $200. They're selling them in them prisons for $1,000. K2, I'm not sure if you guys know what K2 is. It's saturated inside of our prisons. It's synthetic weed. It triggers their mind. It makes them go crazy. And a lot of the abuse of power that we're having inside of our prisons right now is a result of K2. And it's because it's making them act some way they never would. So it's making them aggressive. It's making them hostile. It's making them want to fight. It's making them, I don't know. I've been personally affected by K2 outside the prison system. And let me tell you, like, I firsthand seen what it did to people. And it's sad. And it's not just K2. There's meth inside the prisons right now. There's heroin inside of our prisons right now. There's fentanyl inside of our prisons right now. They're spraying paper with bug spray. because it's getting these people high. I mean, let's be honest, like these are chemicals. These are it's going to kill off the population more than anything. And unfortunately, these men and women are bored and they need an escape. And when it's right there in your face, I mean, could you imagine? I've never been a drug addict, but I've been affected. And I know how easy it is for somebody to relapse. So when you're not giving them programs and you're not giving them the NAAA classes, no rec, what else are they supposed to do? Go ahead, Karina. I think you have your hand up, right? No? Maybe not?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I can speak to that because my daughter was sentenced on drug charges and she was able to access drugs twice. And you know, now she's trying to get herself straightened around. She was able to start school this last week, and she's, with everything that's happened within my personal life with losing my husband, I think it kind of opened her eyes because he passed away since she's been in there. He passed away in November. So I think she's starting to see, you know, that it's not worth it. You know, I kept talking to her. I kept trying to be supportive. You know, why get out of that mess, you know, because you're not doing yourself any favors. And I'm out here fighting for people inside, and you're not taking my advice. And she's 28 years old.
I mean,
you know?
and you try to be understanding and open-minded of it. Like, I'm not going to lie, I've been personally affected by it too. I mean, whether it be our correspondence or even personal, like, you try to be understanding. You really do. I mean, what do they have right now? What do they have? You know, like, we have us on the outside, like, we have our own things that, like, we're stressed out, we're doing this, like, we find something to do to occupy our minds. What do they have?
They don't have anything. They sit on they have to sit on their bunks. If they get a ticket or something like that, they get their phone taken away or their JPay taken away, or they get put in the hole for stuff, getting a ticket for being out of place. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? And they're in there trying to do right. Let's say they're trying to do right, and they're trying to get to their judicial. Well, they don't want to have all these damn tickets, and there's guards in there writing happy ass tickets. Sorry.
Disrespect. I mean, bringing chip bags back. You know, this is stuff and that's what people don't realize either, is people that have to see the parole board, they have to answer to all that bullshit. Whether it be a disrespect ticket, whether it be bringing back food from the chow hall, they can get in trouble for that. And that can revoke a parole. I mean, I know your daughter probably has flat time, right?
Please?
Your daughter has flat time?
Right.
And no offense, like, I've always been a firm believer that people that have drug addictions or problems or whatever the case may be, even mental health problems, they don't deserve to be in prison. They need rehabilitation. And I don't care how much they want to try to say that that's in our prison systems. There is no rehabilitation in our prison systems. I've never been able to make anybody change. Change comes within yourself.
Right.
So, and I'm not going to lie, like, I talked to somebody, I don't want to put my good news out, but like, I spoke to somebody today, a stranger, someone I don't know, over the phone. And, you know, he asked about my 501c3. And I told him, like, look, I fight for prisoners. I fight for fair laws and treatment. And he was extremely impressed with that. Like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, you really do care about helping other people. You know, and I go above and beyond, because at the end of the day, they're human beings. They deserve to be treated with respect and dignity. And DRC has an obligation to hold responsibility to hold. Those are your slaves. Take care of them. And if you don't want to take care of them, send them elsewhere where they can be taken care of. And a big thing is as far as reentry, like we really need to start funding these communities with options, whether it be mentoring the youth or reentry for those that are, coming back out to society, putting money back into our communities so that we have opportunity for them to come out and make the change that's necessary and move on with their lives so that they don't, they don't go back into the system, because we know what it is. They dump them out in the streets with nothing. So
right. And the employers that are out there need to be willing to give them a chance to have a job, and the landlords out there need to be willing to give them a place to live.
yeah, I think felon friendly. And today I just talked to somebody inside of the CDL aspect, truck drivers, and this company was extremely felon friendly. And I commended him for everything that he does. Like, thank you. Like, that's not even my loved one that you helped out, but I just want to thank you because I do feel like it's already a question on the application whether or not you committed a crime or you've been convicted of something, right? Why pull more of that out? We don't need that question because let's be real. Employers can do a background check regardless if they ask it on the application or not. Like, that's an obligation for an employer. So instead of asking them and putting them on the spot and making them lie to better themselves, why not just take it all the way out together? If you feel it's a certain type of way about so-and-so or a certain crime or whatever, like, you have that availability to look up that crime.
Mm-hmm.
As an employer, they do, right? So what's the sense in asking it on an application when you're going to do a background check anyway?
Right.
So someone has to juggle whether they're going to lie or tell the truth and jeopardize a job. That's not okay to me.
And even if they do a background check, that doesn't always mean that that person is a bad person after they've went through their rehabilitation, served their time. They've already served their time. They've done what they need to do to get out of prison.
I'm going to bring my Tommy Pander up real quick because I do have a couple of parole situations that just happened recently. And Lex, I shared with everybody about the parole that we just watched the other day that was live streamed. So one of the things that Annette Chambers was implementing was the fact that parole hearings would be live streamed. Now, what we've been seeing, because I've watched at least 6 or 7 within the last few months, and a lot of them, when you go to click in, it'll tell you the link's broken. Now, from the director, the person that's over the prisons, Annette Chambers, one of the things that she implemented was the fact that these parole hearings would be live streamed. There's a problem. First and foremost, not every hearing's being live streamed. It's hit or miss, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. That's not okay. That's just like those that are getting granted parole. It's a eeny, meeny, miny, mo situation. Pick or choose. Discretion. We need guidelines. I watched this last parole last weekend. I listened to the parole board members. I listened to his sister who came in and pleaded for his release. I listened to the prosecutor who tried to oppose it, of course, because, they always have to say so. Was really thinking this guy was getting out. He got flopped 5 years. 5 years. So during this live stream on Ohio channel of the parole board, they made it seem like they were doing everything they could to be transparent, diverse, and fair, because that's what Epic's fighting for the parole board. They were not. It sounded good, right? But their actions, you flopped them 5 years. Now, during these parole hearings, you can listen to it all the way up until they go to decide, and then they cut you off. That's not okay. That's not fair. That's not being transparent, because you're making it sound good while we're listening, but then after, behind the cameras, no, you're back to your same old routine. I honestly thought that guy was coming home. Nope. I just found out, because he's in Marion, and Lex, you probably know him.
I do. He's a good dude.
5 years. He walked up and down. I heard from an incarcerated person. He walked up and down that hall. Had COs. Good job, guy. Just make it the best. Da da da. Do your thing. Blah, whatever.
Heartbroken. Devastated.
Yeah. Go ahead and look up Tommy Pander. Tommy Pander, which I'm hoping that when I pull this up, his determination ain't on there because I'll be brokenhearted. So Tommy Pander is an old law guy. He's about 80-ish. He's like a grandpa to me. He was my husband's favorite. He was my favorite cellie of my husband's, I should say. I'm going to go ahead and share screen. I don't care because this is public knowledge. I am going to go ahead and show his DRC offender search. I want to show you guys what it's like to be an old law incarcerated person. Now, before I bring his picture up, I do want to let people know that he is a model prisoner. He has never had a ticket. He has never seen the Rules Infraction Board. He has never seen the hole. And 30 years ever until he had to be quarantined. He was thrown in the hole for quarantine because that's what ODRC is doing. That's their quarantine spot, is the hole, which is segregation. For people that aren't aware of what segregation or the hole means, please Google it. It's horrible. That's where they go to be disciplined. He was thrown in the hole as an elderly man. Usually the hole only allows one person, maybe two people. There, in fact, were 4 people in this cell. And as an elderly person, was thrown in there and told to sleep on the floor with no mat. Someone that doesn't get in trouble, someone that's extremely old, fragile, and should be home already. But yeah, he's still incarcerated. He just had a parole hearing recently. I've been praying, I'm hoping, because he was referred to Central Office Board review. And I heard that could be 80% good news. I don't trust the parole board, though. But yeah, here we go. Mr. Tommy Pander. He's been incarcerated since. Am I sharing my screen? Can you guys see it? Nope.
Not
Here we go.
yet.
Hold on. All right. How about now?
Okay.
Yes? Can you guys see Tam? Okay.
Yep.
So Tommy's been incarcerated since 1990. 30 years, right?
Yep.
For murder, which I don't know why DRC is doing this. Karina, I don't know if your organization has realized this, but I did reach out to a couple. I reached out to Pete Van Leer and everybody else. I think it's really weird. Oh, no, it's there. Murder. Okay, so you see murder. Not even aggravated murder, which is worse. Okay? Murder in 1990. He was sentenced to 15 years to life. 15 years, which means he's seen the parole board at least 4 or 5 times already. Just recently in January. 30 years, though, as an old law incarcerated people, when we say old law, we're meaning anyone that was sentenced prior to 1996, which was basically Biden and Clinton's crime bill in 1994. That was where the whole truth in sentencing came in. He is a result of this. But 15 to life. He was served 15 years. So basically in 2005, he should have had a meaningful opportunity at a chance of parole. Look, you see that? Referred to CBOER in January of 2021. They haven't even updated this yet. We don't even know if this man is coming home. And honestly, because he's been in for so long and he's been to the parole board and he's been denied for so long, he is not expecting to be paroled this time. And that to me is disheartening. He's almost 80 years old.
And then, does he have family on the outside?
Oh,
Does
yeah.
he have a place?
Oh, yeah. And even if he didn't have family, I would take him in. That's how close I am with that man. I've known him for 6 years. The last time he went to parole prior to this last time, I really thought he was getting it. He was in Trumbull Correctional Institution. He has been in Trumbull since they built it. So that goes to show you how long he was there. His last parole, they didn't let him go because they said he didn't have reentry classes. They forced him to level drop to a level 2. He is now at Richland. Richland, since he's been there, has not had the reentry class he is supposed to take, that he was supposed to take before this last parole hearing. So I'm hoping that they overlook that and just let him come home. He deserves to be home. And he's so fragile. He's like, it sucks.
And the thing about it is that the taxpayers are paying the extra money.
$39,000. Every time we keep Tommy Pander in, we're paying $39,000 a year for him.
And that doesn't even include the extra, let's say they, like all these COVID issues that have gone on that they basically let happen, sending them, they don't send them to the hospital, people, you know, but they still take the staff and all that. And then if they do go to the hospital, that's extra charges to the state for going to OSU or wherever. So they're not saving any money.
And we're going to end this shortly. We've hour and 45 minutes. I love this. I love this panel discussion, though. I feel like we have brought a lot of great awareness to people that just simply don't know. Lex, is there anything else you'd like to say? You're muted.
Yeah, I just unmuted. Just keep in contact with us. Keep engaged. Do your research. If you have a question, reach out. If you have trouble, even, standing in the gap for a loved one, with people who may not know that, you're living with incarceration, just let us know. We can help you, with that, and just keep fighting the fight. And just know also, legislation moves slow, but we're committed. That's what we're doing. We're getting ready to hit the State House to get this bill in for the parole board. But like Gina said, when it seems like we're not doing anything, we are. We spend, we all have full-time jobs, but we do spend the time that we do have. I know Gina busts her butt more than anybody I know.
Oh, thank you.
Just have faith that we're making moves, and join us. Just join us.
Karina, any last thoughts?
Just if people from BAM don't know anything about Epic, follow Galita, and any of the other organizations. If you need help, reach out. And the people need to come together. We need families. We need friends.
We need
to
a
get
village.
Involved.
A big village.
Get involved.
Keep going. I'm actually going to bring up the Alabama thing that's been going on. For those that haven't seen it, I want to kind of play the videos and show them about the brutality inside of our prison, so that people know that this isn't just happening in just Alabama. This is throughout the United States. So another thing we are going to press the issue on is body cameras on COs and staff members. I feel like even with police officers, if we were to put body cams even on police officers and COs, it would make them think twice about hurting our loved ones. And not just to put body cameras on them, but to hold them accountable when they shut them off, or when they're not working. Obstruction of justice. Just simply put, because it is obstruction of justice when we have to fight. Like you guys know, Maurice. It had to be all the way up to Ohio State Patrol. And how hard was it to get them into investigation records and stuff? It takes a lot. And like I said, just one organization is not able to just do this work all on their own. We do need a force behind us regardless. The more the better. Please join us. Like I said, if you don't know how to help us by any means, just reach out to us. We can let you guys know, whether it be sharing something, liking something, commenting, or a donation. I mean, $5, it could go a long way for our organization. And I don't know about the Alabama thing, if you guys want to.
Somebody just asked the best place to get Epic info.
We do have a website, www.epicx, the letter X, team.org. You can find us on Facebook at Ensuring Parole for Incarcerated Citizens. Our public and our private group will show up, but I ask that if you join our private group, you please answer the questions accordingly. It is very hard to add people to our group when they don't answer the questions, because I'm not going to lie to you. A lot of our correspondents, especially one recently, he's actually a mentor in the, they call it the mental block at Trumbull, but he is a mentor for these men who harm themselves. And he just went to parole recently. He was flat 10 years. He found out some things that the parole board wasn't doing that they should have been doing. One of those rules I told you about, one of the rules the director put in place, and they weren't following it. So he was able to get a rehearing. Now, the parole board basically told him that because he was seen on our blog site and this, that, and the other, that he was on social media. He had a cell phone. That's not true. That is not true. We do offer a platform for our incarcerated people for them to blog, whether it be a recipe, parole experience, whatever. We just give them that platform. But the fact of the matter is that we have COs coming onto our pages. We have them watching. The director's probably watching us right now. I'm just saying. And us, Epic and BAM, went boots on ground in Annette Chambers' community and took our problems to her and let her know that we're not going nowhere. We're not going anywhere. And we will make sure that she does the job that she's entitled to do, period. Yeah, we have several different Facebook pages. Google us. I mean, we've done articles. You'll find us one way or another. Just reach out, please. You can email us too. epicxteam20@gmail.com. EPIC. Actually, I'll go ahead and share my screen with that.
All of these are going to be in the comments, G. They'll be in the comments too.
Oh, thank you, babe. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I do want to play a couple of videos. Before I do, I just want to let you guys know we are in coalition with many organizations across the United States trying to build a national force, whether it be freeing the 13th, whether it be parole reform, whether it be ending mass incarceration, for whatever it is. Like, we are in full force with many organizations. But one of our comrades from the inside was recently, just like Maurice, beaten to death. He was beaten unconscious. He had to be revived. He was drugged outside of his cell, from his cell to the range. I'm going to say 500 feet. It might be more. Viewer discretion advisory, because what you're about to see is gruesome. We were able to get inside footage of the aftermath of a CO brutality incident. Of course, Alabama Department of Corrections, they put out a press release claiming that their CO was stabbed. But I'm going to tell you right now, if a CO was stabbed in this incident that I'm about to show you, they would have no problem putting those cameras on the inside proving it was a CO and not an incarcerated person. Now, we have many guys across the United States right now, and I commend them. I really do. I understand that cell phones are a no-go inside these prisons. But the reason why is because what we're about to show you. If we would have not had this comrade that sent these videos out to us that leaked, the brutality would have never, ever, ever been seen. Okay. Like I said, viewer discretion. Please, they're gruesome. The young man, one of our really great comrades, justice for the Donaldson Four, all four of them. Whether you were beat, you're still going through retaliation, or even anybody outside those four. Epic stands behind you. We support you guys. We're praying for you, and we are here in solidarity all the way from Ohio. But I want to show my the viewers exactly what happens inside the prison system when the cameras aren't available to us, which is why I truly do love the guys on the inside that have these cell phones that put their lives at risk. Because without that proof, we are no less than they are. We're just allegers. I'm sorry, but I'm not a liar, and I will not let DOC say that we're lying and we're alleging because we have proof. So I'm going to go ahead and share these videos. Like I said, your discretion advisory. This happened at Donaldson Correctional Institution in Alabama Correctional Institution, or I'm sorry, ADOC. We do have a protest happening this Saturday at 1 p.m. in Alabama for our comrades. EPIC is partaking with a national coalition, the forces that we've built. Boots on ground. I unfortunately will not presently be there, but we will be streaming from our page. With that being said, here are the videos, and please go to my page if you can, share them. We have to keep the pressure on DOC, whether it be Ohio, Alabama, Mississippi, whoever. We have to keep the pressure going. All right, let me share my screen and get these videos up.
Shit, man, look, you see they drug him out of here. Look at all the blood, man. They drug him out of here, bro. Look at this shit, man. Look at this shit. Turn it right on.
Now, mind you, they're coughing from the mace.
Shit, all the goddamn mace and shit, man. Damn mace and shit, man. Look at this shit. They drug him out of here, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm bumping with some more police on
It
the
makes
other
you
side.
cough. It's like
I'm
it's
bumping with some more police on the other side. They done make the fuck out of me. You know what I'm saying? Jumped on Jersey. Jumped on Jersey. Goddamn. Jumped over Earl.
I mean, look at the blood pool. Like, that's something you would see in the movie.
Griffin did this shit. What the fuck? Look at this, man. This is fucking.
Now that's his tooth, but hang on. We're going to go to the next video here.
Just want to brush teeth, bro. Look at this shit, man. Ah, shit. It's a tooth. They knocked bro tooth out. Look at that shit. Just want to brush teeth, bro. Look at this shit, man. Police just did this shit, man. Look, you see that?
One more
Drug him
time.
out of here. Look at all the blood, man. They drug him out of here, bro. Look at this shit, man.
And we would like for all of our viewers to know that this is not just something that happened at Alabama. This is what goes on every single day inside of our prisons. We just don't get this proof.
Shit. All the goddamn mace and shit, man. Damn mace and shit, man. Look at this shit. They drug him out of here, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm bumping with some more police on the other side.
All right, hang on one second, guys. Sorry. So yeah, like this is something that
I'm bumping with some more police on the other
hold
side.
on one second, guys.
They done make the fuck out of me. You know what I'm saying? Jumped on Jersey.
Okay. So this is something that's happening inside of our prisons on the daily. I mean, EPIC, I know for sure, gets a lot of abuse of power calls. We have a couple of COs, especially a Marion, CO Kenny. He's responsible of the Maurice Conyer thing. He has also been reported numerous times since that incident of also abuse of power of other incarcerated people. Enough is enough. If you go to his page, you can tell that he's all about fighting. He's all about martial arts. He's all about being that type of person. And we have to change the narrative, especially when it comes to our COs as well. Like, people deserve to be treated with dignity and respect. And if you are a rehabilitation correctional officer, you need to have that mindset. you need to stop making their lives even harder than it already is by serving their time. So I just want to make it aware to other people. Like, if you have people that are incarcerated and you feel like they're being a burden, right now's the time to check on them.
Turn your picture back on, G. You're off again.
There we go. Yeah, if you have incarcerated people, please check on them by JPay, reaching out to them, sending them a letter, whatever the case may be. Right now, they need your support more than anything. And it's not about them being a burden, but right now are trying times. I am the wife of an incarcerated person. My husband's been locked up for 20 years, wrongfully incarcerated. I've been fighting for his case for the last 6 years on my own. Carrie, just so you know, it's on my personal Facebook. You might have to scroll down a little bit because I do share a lot. You already know. Oh, look, Karina says it's on their page as well. Like I said, that video is floating. It was leaked. ADOC knows that pressure is on them. So it's time for them to do the right thing. And right now, I know the commissioner in Alabama is asking for all staff members, especially like higher ups, to wear body cameras. There were sergeants involved in this beating. Sergeants. And all of this took place because a CO was in the chow hall and flipped the tray of a mentally ill elderly person, and our comrade, that was the blood, that was all his blood, was beaten because all he did was ask that CO, why did you guys do that guy like that? He did the man down call, which we know once they do man down, it's a full force inside those blocks. There's COs just piling in, goon squad, all that. They were shook down. They were trying to find the person with the cell phone. He's actually facing some retaliation right now. Prayers for him, especially because he's a hero in my eyes. Had he not gotten that video out the way he did, we'd never know. DOC would be covering this up. They're trying to. They're claiming that blood is the CO's blood. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. So please be mindful of the situations happening at hand inside of these prisons. We appreciate everybody joining in and tuning in tonight. We've kind of went over 2 hours. It was a long discussion panel, but I'm glad that we did this. And I hope that people out there, please, if you have a heart, if you're compassionate and you care about life, these people are people, regardless. And they have loved ones out here fighting for them. And wrongful incarceration, people convicted of crimes they truly never committed because of plea deals and this, that, and the other. It's happening inside of our system. Ooh, sorry, Karina, I'm going to mute you. It's happening on the daily. So we just need people to be like-minded. We need people to come forth and not see an eye for an eye. These people did the crime. They should do the time. Yeah, they're doing the time. And they're doing more time than they should be doing, period, depending on when they were sentenced. And that's not okay. And it's time to end that. Ladies, any final comments? I didn't see any other questions.
No, I think we got to all the questions from what I saw.
All right, Epic is right now. We did finalize our parole reform parole reconstruction proposal. We are asking for guidelines to be implemented into our parole board. Right now, like I said, there are no guidelines. They can flop purely on discretion. That's not okay. That's not fair. It's not transparent. It's not being diverse. It's none of that. It's eeny, meeny, miny, mo. And if someone worked up to be able to be suitable for release, they should get their release. No more prosecutor opposition. The prosecutor had his day in court. I don't feel like they should continuously keep coming back every single parole board. Their opinion's never going to change. It was taken into consideration when the judge sentenced the individual. Same thing with the victim. And listen, please, victims' lives, all that matters as well. But what we need to do is draw the narrative as to how much time is enough time. They weren't sentenced to life without parole. They were sentenced to a meaningful opportunity at a parole, and they're not getting it. We know guys, Tommy Pander, he was sentenced to 15 years of life. He served 30. If the judge felt Tommy Pander needed to spend 30 years in prison, he would have sentenced Tommy to 30 years to life. But because he's part of that old law, what we were talking about, he's stuck. He's stuck until the parole board lets him go.
Hey, G, just say which ways people can donate so I can post it in the comments. I don't have all. I know the Cash App. What is that?
Hang on a second.
We have so many ways. I know you did a Venmo too. Thanks, Carrie, for the question, so we can get that out there. Appreciate it.
For the most part, it is Epic in Ohio, but just for, hold on one second. I'm going to bring it up right now. I'm sorry. I was not prepared with that question.
I'm sorry too. I should have it written down, but I don't have my notebook here and the one that I needed in front of me.
I know Cash App is the $ Epic, EPICIN, Ohio. Same thing for Venmo.
It's lowercase IN though, right?
Yes. Epic is all caps, IN, lowercase, capital O, and then Ohio.
Yeah.
And that's both for Venmo and for Cash App. And then PayPal is epicxteam2020@gmail.com.
Somebody's posting it for you.
Thank you.
And it'll be in the comments too. And the PayPal is our
The
Epic
2020 Gmail.
X-Team20.
Karina, how can people donate to BAM?
Right now, we don't have anything set up. That was one of the things I brought up earlier. Stay tuned. That's all I can tell you right now, but we're going to get set up with something.
Yeah, just please find By Any Means, BYEMEANZ. Oh, I'm sorry. BYEANYMEANZ. Follow them on Facebook. They have a Facebook page. Reach out to one of the ladies. They're fabulous. We are definitely very gracious that we are working alongside with BAM. It's been a long time coming. We've only been trying to work with the ladies forever. We are finally thankful that we are all on board together. We're moving together in a force with the same problems, all of that. And we're not going nowhere. And we're in this for the long run. A lot of us have lifers, which means that unless we fix the parole board, our loved ones aren't coming home. So we have to keep fighting. We don't have outdates. We just have to make the laws right. And we will. In the end, that's our biggest agenda. But like I said, we're working with different organizations. We have a lot of great opportunities going right now, especially like the platform yesterday with No Static Radio, spreading love unapologetically. Epic, BAM, and ALHH, Gay Lisa's organization. She is formerly incarcerated and has a lot of stuff up her sleeve right now. And I'm so thankful that Epic was given the opportunity to work side by side with her. Stay tuned because we have a lot of things happening. She's going inside these county jails starting from time they go in, and we'll keep hands on them until time they come out and even after the fact. We're looking for funding for houses. We would like our bigger goal for myself and Gay Lisa and BAM's included now. I'm so glad that they came on with us. We want to, our long-term goal is to have a re-entry house in every single county in Ohio.
That'd be awesome.
Period.
Totally awesome.
You have all these vacant houses, do something with them.
Yeah, and the thing about it is we could be using people formerly incarcerated to be able to do the rehab on the houses and stuff. You know?
I mean, Lisa already has a whole force behind her, like willing to go in these houses, fix them up, do this, do that, maintenance, janitor, all that. So we're just excited for the opportunity. We just need people that will give us the opportunity to fund these houses. Grant writers, if there's any grant writers out there, please message us. We need y'all. Supporters, we need y'all. Formerly incarcerated people, we need y'all. We can't speak on what's going on in the inside because we've never been there. Some of us have never been there. We've never experienced that life. I mean, we're incarcerated because our people are incarcerated, but we've never firsthand experienced that. So the more success stories we can get, formerly incarcerated people, they've been into society for years now. We need you.
We need to know what works.
What helped them? What got you where you're at?
Right.
What support system did you have? So that we're able to offer that to these other people coming out to society. But with our forces, we are collaborating with right now in the coalition that we're building. I think we are on our way to success. We've always said COVID was a blessing in disguise. But now I feel like we are truly on the right path to success. We will win in the end. So we appreciate everybody joining us tonight. I really didn't think this would take 2 hours, but I'm glad it did because we discussed a lot of things. And like I said, don't give up on us because we are all building together and we're going to come back better together. And we have a lot that we're trying to do. And unfortunately, especially myself, because I've been doing this for 6 years, I know a lot of people are like, so Epic, what's Epic doing? I choose to move in silence with my board. Only because, like I said, we got COs on our pages that we don't know about. They come add themselves, and we just, it's hard to PI and deal with the fake versus the non. So we have a lot of opposition out there that are trying to quiet us, and we just can't let it happen. Regardless, we have to stand up for what we believe in.
Let's rock and roll, as my husband would say.
I agree. And we're doing that. All right. For our viewers, we appreciate everybody tuning in tonight, especially those that lasted the entire 2 hours.
Yeah. I was about to get up, Gina. I'm like,
I know it's past your bedtime.
Well, not since I've been off work with my shoulder, but I need to use the restroom. And I'm like, Gina, come on.
Shut up, lady.
Shut up.
Baby, I can keep going on and on and on.
We'll talk till you die.
I just hope that our conversation tonight persuaded a few people, not just that one that I go for, but a few.
Right.
And I hope that everyone sticks it out with not just our organization, BAM, ALHH, all of them. Like, if you see these board members putting in the work, boots on ground, they're every day sharing. I'm going to tell you what, we have a lot of correspondence on the inside. And when these guys and these women are calling me and like, listen, I've been incarcerated for 20 years and there's not been any organization that has been doing this for as long as we've been doing this and putting in as much work as we've been, like, that makes me feel good. I've only been doing this for 5, maybe 6 years. Epic's been in existence with Epic for the last year. So to have the support that we have, I'm truly blessed, honestly. And when they give me those words of encouragement, it makes me stronger to keep pushing. And it makes me realize, like, sometimes I feel like we're not doing enough.
Yeah, we're an encouragement to a lot of people. And at this point, we can't go back because we're giving people hope that otherwise would have given up, in their spirit. And, the prison system already tries to break their spirit and their mental. We have to stick with them. So,
and we will make sure we break them gates for all those that are deserving. And with that being said, any final comments?
No, I'm done. Let the woman go to the body.
Go potty, Lex. It was nice hanging out with you ladies. For our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in. I promise you this is not the last of seeing our faces, whether it be Epic, BAM, or Gay Lisa. I wish her connection would have worked out, but we're not going anywhere. We will continue to keep coming with different topics to educate you guys, keep you in tune, and let you guys know our future endeavors. Like I said, Epic's been sitting back a little bit since the rallies, but we've been working on our proposal. Parole reform construction is coming. And then our National Day, Support a Prisoner Day, February 20th. Please, 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 please decorate your windows. Put them panes in your panes. We have to. Let's show the community mass incarceration is a problem. And it's not just certain individuals. It's many people in one community affected. All right, ladies. It was a great night hanging out with y'all.
Yeah, stay safe.
Thank you.
Yeah, stay safe, everyone. And for those that have institutions opening up, if you don't know, there's like 8 or 9 on the list. There's 8 or 9 institutions inside of Ohio that are opening back up for visitation. I was really against the whole visiting during COVID thing, but I'm going to tell you what, I haven't seen my husband in 500 days. I'll catch COVID just to see him. So if you have a loved one incarcerated, check DRC's site for visiting. If their institution's open, please go see them. They need you. And with that being said, thank you everyone for tuning in.
Good night.
Good night.